An orphan.
A what?
An orphan?
Did you say an orphan?
Yeah, a little orphan boy.
It's powered by a forsaken child?
Might be, kind of. I mean, I didn't use the whole thing.
Woo! You get a podcast, and you get a podcast.
I do? Oh, wow.
Enthusiasm. Wow.
Everybody
Don't have to pay
gets
taxes on it.
bees.
I just traded in for in-store credit.
The only thing we sell are podcasts.
Yeah, did you keep the receipt?
We don't. Our machine's out of paper.
Oh, so no
Oh.
gift receipt? Really?
And no e-receipt? Come on.
We're not that kind of
old, man.
business. There's an old lady in the back that writes them out by hand. That's right. It's a podcast, everybody. Oh, my back hurts. Well, how's everybody doing? Silver, how you doing, champ? Wait,
Slugger.
Oh,
wait.
no.
She's here.
Ah.
I'm doing great.
Oh, so you mean bad? That's what you mean?
I love school.
Silver lacks the capacity to be serious and straightforward with everybody, and you have to imply everything is sarcastic.
No. I love simultaneously having to know chemistry, physics, coding, and biology for only a biology major.
Yeah. You don't know those. What are you
I'm not your dad. Don't tell me school is fine.
School's great.
Well, yeah, it's fine. It's great.
How's school?
Love it for sec.
It was okay.
It's
All right.
Did you learn your numbers?
You learning
I
your
learned the
cursive?
force of gravity is negative 9.8.
Rock on. I mean, some people more than others. Ross, how's it going there, bucko?
Well, champ, things are going pretty all right, I guess. I can't complain.
You've returned from
I'm-
hell.
I've returned from hell. I was hip deep in some bullshit.
Satan.
Yep, and now there's less of it, so that's nice. You know.
And you've joined us for Spooky Hour once again.
Once again, God, it's I forgot about the spooky hour. I enjoy it.
Yeah, you thought I might upgrade the background from last year? No.
How can you improve upon perfection? I mean, honestly.
Well, you could tell it's like a slightly jank AI image, but the lightning's pretty sweet.
It's pretty good.
So I'm just going to keep up with that lightning.
You
We
should.
have landed the Winnebago. Last week, we established that we poop outside the castle.
Oh,
It's a good
yes.
thing to establish.
That's, yeah. That's the perspective
That's
we
what
have
those
right
things
now.
are for, that overhang the walls.
No, just outside the castle.
Well, yeah, we're down here. We're looking up at the castle. We're pooping, watching the lightning.
Don't you have a pole or something?
Oh yeah, a lightning rod.
Oh, that's
holding
right.
That thing.
Your pooping pole.
Yeah, just hoping to get struck.
You missed some good lore the last week, Ross.
Well, you guys do all the lore when I'm not here. What the hell's that about? I'm starting to get paranoid about it.
Well, it might just, the lore comes out when Ross isn't restricting our creativity.
I do restrict. It's what I do.
He's like that disapproving mom that stands there and frowns because your coloring just sucks.
Yeah, it does. Really
You're not supposed to
disappointed.
tell us it's bad. You're supposed to put it on the fridge proudly, give a prerequisite few days before it accidentally fell off and the dog ate it.
Listen, I want my kid to know honesty and truth, and so I'm not going to lie to you. When it sucks, I'm going to tell you, all right?
Get better. I barely know how to draw a circle.
Stop embarrassing me.
I'm supposed to display this in public?
Oh my God, when the Johnsons come over, it's going to be so embarrassing.
How am I going to explain to them my son made this? How do I explain to them?
You tell me.
You tell me.
You know, if somebody who pulled this up and had really weird issues, this could be a really bad podcast for them. Just right out the gate.
Gone through the parent PTSD thing.
No. Just send them into a spiral.
There's a subreddit called Traumatize Them Back where kids post stories about traumatizing their parents to get revenge, I guess. I was like, how is that a good solution? It's like, my parents treated me poorly, therefore I'm getting revenge.
Seems incredibly petty. Not to be that guy, but that seems horribly petty.
Oh, no. Reddit isn't full of the best and most wholesome communities. I know it's shocking to think. But
Well, that applies me nicely. What do you mean?
Oh, well, maybe my experience is subjective with the hundreds and hundreds of subreddits I've seen.
That is a terrible shithole, I will admit.
Jason, you do look forward to your children traumatizing you back.
Yeah, I mean, I'm paying for their therapy right now, so when it gets to them paying me back, they can pay for my therapy, so it'll come
That's
full
good.
circle.
You're forward thinking. I like that.
Yeah.
You doing okay there, bucko?
Of course I am. Remember, I'm traumatizing my children right now. Wait for a few years and then it will be their turn, and then maybe it'll be a little bit rocky. But right now, I'm good.
Oh, sweet.
Doing fine.
Doing good.
With the little mustache youth.
I played Final Fantasy Tactics, but I was gonna do that. I had it pre-ordered the moment I was aware it existed.
Got its hooks in you.
Pre-ordered and paid for, despite the fact I couldn't afford it today. It came in. The good and the bad, it's exactly Final Fantasy Tactics. It just, the menus run better, and they did some improvements that you saw in War of the Lion. But if you want the good traditional Final Fantasy Tactics, this is it. It's just, it runs better. The menus are more efficient. War of the Lion did something that the original didn't have, where you could fast forward during battle, so you don't have to sit there and watch every animation, which was awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah, it's great. It's great Final Fantasy. I think the one thing that encouraged me to revisit it is because it looks great, and I get to get the trophies and stuff.
That's fun.
But it's been fun. I mean, it's one of the best leveling systems, but also you can over-level and break the game.
Oh.
They fixed Cloud. They did fix Cloud.
Well, was he a little bit
He
beefy?
sucked.
Remind me, when you got Cloud, it was so far in game that he was almost useless, and you had to do a lot of grinding.
Chapter 4.
Correct?
Yeah.
To get him up to be on par with your characters you've already collected?
Well, in the original, by the time we get to chapter 4, I don't know what level you're expected to be at. 20 plus? But when you get Cloud, he starts out at 1.
Oh God.
And he can only use the materia blade to use his abilities. And you might go, oh, okay. So you have to go get the materia blade, which is like a secret location. You have to go find it. So you end up just finding the location on the internet. But you get the materia blade, and the materia blade as a weapon actually sucks. So it's not a good sword. Secondly, all of his abilities, like his limit breaks is what they call them, they have such a long casting time that some of them, by the time the ability triggers, despite the fact of doing good damage, the guy's already moved out of the way. Like, he's no longer there.
That's
So
embarrassing.
you just basically fire on empty air?
Yeah, most of the time. And so, really, he's just a mediocre whatever. In the new game, they've shortened the casting time, and there's an ability that you can get that you had to get previously that halves casting time for stuff. So it makes him usable in some way. And they made the materia blade better, and they give you a more upgraded version that's at the secret location that the original was previously at. So he actually is okay now. He's all right. He's not the best character in the game, but he doesn't suck. The reason why Cloud was in it was because it released the same year 7 came out.
Ah, yeah. Okay.
In War of the Lion, they added Balthier from 12, and what's his stupid face? I think it was from Advanced. I can't remember his name.
Yeah.
He's like a monster man. Anyway. But it's been fun. So everybody, I know everybody wants to sit here and talk to me, listen to me tell you about my interesting diatribes about Final Fantasy Tactics. It's probably one of my more favorite games of all time. I've probably beaten it like 5 times.
I was gonna say, just since I've known you, you've gone back and played through it at least 3 times.
Yeah, it's probably more then.
Yeah.
It's a good game. What do you want from me, Ross?
Well, I'm judging you. That's what I'm doing.
Oh.
Harshly. Not really.
So, a big movie came out this week. Little film by the name of Tron Ares. Now, we're going to talk about its quality and its success and the numbers and stuff later in the news dump. But that's sort of the big movie everybody's talking about. Now,
Right.
I didn't see it. And for a specific reason of it didn't interest me. Now, I know everybody's expected to see every movie. And I know people who listen to this podcast, the few of you who do, are obsessed with my takes on every movie. And by that, I mean you're not. You don't desperately need my take on every movie. But as we've stated in this podcast multiple times, if there's something you don't like or it's not up your alley, don't give them your money.
Yeah.
I always find it fascinating when something bad comes out and people are like, oh, I hate it. And it's like, well, didn't you see stuff ahead of time that gave you an indication it was going to be bad? Well, yeah. And it's like, well, why'd you go it? Because I have to go see all the new things. It's like, you don't have to see all the new, you don't have to give them your money. If something's bad, don't buy it or watch it or consume product. You know what I mean?
It's must consume, Red.
I know.
So for me, I'm old enough to have been around when the first Tron came out. I remember seeing the trailers and stuff for it, and I wanted to see it as a kid. But, as a kid, I had no money, and so it was up to my parents to decide whether or not we were going to see it. And my parents, it wasn't something that was up their alley, so we never did. And it wasn't until I was an adult that I actually finally saw it. I think I was a parent with, like, my own kids and things. My kids were just, like, really small at that time, so they weren't into it either. But it was okay. But by the time I watched it,
it's not okay. It's
by
very
the time
boring.
what I mean is by the time I watched it, all the stuff that was going on in Tron had either been surpassed or shown to be something that wasn't uh, going to happen as far as technology or anything like that. So there was so what I remember mostly of Tron was that one, it was a movie, and two, it was a seldom played arcade game. There was a Tron arcade cabinet, and I never saw anybody playing it. I heard that it was rather difficult to play and things, and so most people didn't play it. I could be wrong about that, but
No, there was
like I
like an
said, by the time
Atari
I watched it,
looking Tron game where you threw discs at each other.
yeah,
The point
um,
being is discussing it. The original Tron was basically
well,
boring,
right,
and a lot of the intention it got was graphics. Like they did some
yes,
interesting things with visually. I did see it. It's really boring.
yeah.
And this is coming from
What I was
somebody who
going,
likes the idea of Tron. I just don't like
yeah,
Tron.
it's it is a fascinating idea. And then Tron, what is it? Tron Rebirth, or what was the second one that
Legacy,
came out?
Rebirth.
Oh, Legacy. Thank you. So I did go see Legacy, but that one again, it was like
Graphically impressing
it
and
tripped over
boring.
its own ego. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a boring movie.
Yeah, like it tried
Yeah.
to think like, oh, Tron. Remember how huge this was, and then everyone's just like, no.
No. Well, you remember Daft Punk did the music for it and they were in the movie?
Yeah, and that
Yeah,
was
they
the
were in it.
best part of the movie. And I don't hate that movie or anything, but by far and away the part of that movie that everyone remembers is the song "Derezzed" by Daft Punk. Like pure and
Yeah,
simple.
and visually it's a pretty movie.
Very,
Oh
very
yeah,
pretty.
very
Yeah,
pretty. But
absolutely.
it's so up its own butt.
Well, and now we have Tron Ares. It
Uh-huh.
doesn't seem to be performing well. I was thinking before this podcast when I heard about the movie, I was sitting here reflecting, going, you know what? I would really like Tron to be awesome.
That would be great.
Yes,
Having a really good
exactly.
Tron movie would just be really cool. Because I actually really want some really good movies. I think part of the problem with being critical, especially with us, is we tend to be critiquing constantly, which maybe we might over poke holes in problems with movies.
Yeah.
Mm.
But then me and Ross saw Fantastic Four, and a lot of people lambast it. We thought it was all right. It's not amazing, but it
Mhm.
wasn't a horrific film. We thought it was all right. It has
Yeah.
its moments, and then if you think about it very long, the plot kind of falls apart.
Oh,
But
certainly.
it's all right. And I genuinely really want a really good movie. And I thought, you know what would be awesome if Tron was just really, really good. Just Ares was just blew my socks off. Like the trailer kind of wants me to think it's gonna be
Mhm.
just this amazing visual experience and such an interesting tale and whatnot. And then
Yeah.
word starts to get out about the plot. And I don't want to be like, oh, shockingly, the movie that probably wasn't going to be good didn't end up being good. I know.
It's really weird. Oh wow.
and it's like, oh, it's really bad. That's too bad.
It's a shame. A damn shame.
Now that we don't have
And it is. It is a. I
Jesus in
mean,
the
we're
movie.
kind of poking fun at this a little bit, but it's a terrible shame when these movies come out and they just are trash because it means that we won't get good movies because
Yeah.
everybody's scared to put their butts on the line to back anything now unless it's a surefire winner.
What do you mean by that?
So the thing is that like if somebody comes to you know a movie studio and they have something that's not a tried and true uh, 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 IP.
IP or
It's
brand,
already got
yeah.
a following that they can bank on it, and it's going to make them a lot of money. There's a lot of hesitancy to back that kind of movie, and it
I don't
could be
think
that
that's the finish your thought, but I don't think that's what's going on here.
I'm not. Well, the thing is that there's a lot of good. There's a lot of good material out there that could make a lot of good movies, but there's not necessarily a lot uh, of impetus to back that kind of thing, because when you have these movies that come out that people think are going to be a surefire winner because they do have some fan backing and things like that, they flop, and then they're like, "Ooh, maybe we shouldn't touch this." There have been a number of projects that looked really good but were canceled because something else didn't do well.
I mean, I guess so. The classic thinking when it comes to brand recognition and IPs is it's a lot harder to establish a brand new brand than it is to
Yes.
use an already existing recognizable brand. And it is like calculable as far as like the difference between the two. Getting a brand new different movie established is harder. But the problem is we have evidence after evidence after evidence of films with brand recognition being horrific giant pieces of crap.
Yes.
Superman, Star Wars, Jurassic Park, like everything, every big brand you can think of. Marvel, just Marvel after Marvel after Marvel film, just horrible films. And brand recognition, the traditional thing would be brand recognition is what's bringing these people out. But if you stain the brand enough, people stop trying to like give it a shot anymore. They're like, I don't want to see the new Star Wars movie. That's precluding knowing anything about it. It's just like, I don't want to see it because they don't honor the source material. They seem to lack the capacity to write well. Most of the stuff seems to be infused with some sort of political messaging, whether overt or hidden, but they lack the capacity to be subtle when it comes to that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. And it's like that buying something as big as Star Wars, what do they pay $4 billion for it? It's a big brand. And to burn the value of that brand to almost nothingness is amazing. It blows my mind. Like ruining Indiana Jones blows my mind. Last week we had a report that apparently the cost for Indiana Jones has ballooned to something like $400 million.
Oh my god!
Which is amazing. Just an absurd
for a geriatric Indiana Jones and some broad no one likes.
Yeah. Or recognizes. We are going to run down the same problem that we've had before. We're going to start repeating the same talking points because we've discussed this issue over and over and over again. What I want to do is steer away from that and start talking about what essentially I titled this podcast over, is start to recognize the fact that think back, whether it's video games or movies, what is actually working now.
Right.
Battlefield 6 is doing really well. Well, go ahead and finish your thought, but
I want to say with Indiana Jones, they should have rebooted the series. I know that George Lucas doesn't want to do that, and Harrison Ford is Indiana Jones, but they should have rebooted.
Yeah, I don't know if that would have done anything. People can't associate Indiana Jones without Harrison Ford.
I mean, he's eventually going to pass away, and
well, that doesn't mean we should make more.
No, that means we're going to AI him. That's
if only if it's
Uncanny Valley Jones. Anyway, yeah, I agree. We have retread this ground many times.
And I don't want to have this discussion again, is my point. If you want to listen to us talk about the problems with Hollywood and writing and video games, do that elsewhere. It's on this
Yeah, we got
podcast
lots of-
somewhere.
Yeah, we got lots of videos of that. You can go back through our.
Check every other episode.
Yeah, well,
basically.
and I was concerned that we were retreading the same talking point. Like we have developed our arguments against these things so thoroughly that it's become somewhat talking points for us. And it's like I'm sick of having this discussion.
Well, a movie comes out, or a new take on an old classic or whatever comes out, and it's almost like there's a checklist going on in Hollywood where they're like, did we dishonor the source material enough? Yes, we did. Check. And so when it comes to us reviewing it, it's like we go through the same checklist. They dishonored the original source material. They had ample opportunity to workshop this, and instead they took this other route. They the only people they have working on it are, instead of writers and entertainers, are activists. And so it's almost, like I said, it's almost like both of us have this checklist,
And
that when
all of this
anything
is
comes out,
true.
we go through.
All of this is true, but there is a deeper direction to go with this, which is what I'm going to try and do today with the rest of you. So restrain yourselves by going, oh well, it's woke or what. Like, let's go in a more interesting direction. So Battlefield 6 came out. Now we've been talking about a lot of the failures in video games lately. We had our Assassin's Creeds and our Dragon Age and Starfield and Forspoken and blah blah blah. Like, just keep going down the list of games that are established IPs that failed. Forspoken wasn't, but and that's the thing though. It's like Hollywood would be doing well if it wasn't for the fact that they weren't making good movies. Me and Ross talked earlier where it's like Hollywood's been struggling. A lot of people are like, well, it's because of the strike or it's because of COVID and they're still trying to get their footing. And it's like, well, all of this would be different if they were making good movies. I think what the problems inherent in Hollywood are basically accelerating because of things like the strike and COVID. But these are problems inherent in Hollywood at the ground level.
Yeah.
It's just we're seeing them right out the gate. It's like if there were good movies, it would be masking the problems of a declining Hollywood. But because there aren't even good movies, they can't even prop up their own industry. And now we got Trump demanding 100% tariffs on Hollywood.
Gonna put a tariff on them. It's gonna be great.
Imagine how much you would have to make for a movie if you had to pay like an extra 100% on top of it because of tariffs.
Oh my god. we barely begin to break even at $900 million.
The next Mad Max had to do $2 billion to break even.
Oh god, yeah, because then you got to figure they don't include marketing. So I mean, it would be like a billion too. Like
it might get Hollywood to start thinking in terms of profitability again.
They are. That's why they're filmed overseas. No, seriously, it costs too much to film here.
Yeah, I mean, aren't they filming some game shows in Ireland?
Yeah, because it's cheaper to fly their whole crew to Ireland to film a game show than it is to film in Hollywood.
And a bunch of dumb American contestants. I mean, that's incredible.
Yeah. And why is that the case? Because it's too expensive for California charges them too much. It's the regulation, it's the unions, it's the taxes, it's all. And it's like, oh, well, England really wants to encourage people to film there. Why do you think so many movies are filmed in England? Because it's cheaper. Why do you think so many movies are filmed in Georgia? Because it's cheaper. Like all of the Marvel movies are filmed in Georgia. Once again, we're going down the same route. So think of Battlefield 6. It's the danger route of having the same discussion again. Think of Battlefield 6. Battlefield 6 is doing well. Why, Ross?
Well, after the disastrous Battlefield 5 and 2042, it seems to be a return to form. It had a very, very large beta cycle, 2 different betas on weekends, and they did incredibly well. And it's because the gameplay and the feel is back to what it closer to what it used to be.
And it's funny because
and they did more testing before they released.
Seems to be. We'll see. I mean, this is the first weekend, so Who knows? But I mean, at the very least, this is the most hype a Battlefield game has had since, well, Battlefield 1.
Well, and I've seen articles where it's like Sony is moving away from COD towards Battlefield because COD is not performing. And it's like, I don't know why everybody thinks that Battlefield is like the new shooter. Like, look at the last like 3 or 4 Battlefields. They've been terrible.
Yeah.
But suddenly we get one Battlefield that's kind of good and everyone's flocking to it. Why? Because it's not trying to rewrite the formula. It's not trying to experiment. It's not trying to change what worked with Battlefield. You know what works? The traditional formula of how Battlefield works. And it kind of functions well. And guess what?
Yeah.
People are kind of hungry for that kind of game.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the games that are successful right now that you can think of that are actually standouts. Was it Silksong? Hades? Expedition 33?
Oh my gosh, I started Silk Song, and yes.
See? Why are they working? It's not that it's doing anything outside of the box. It's doing a traditional, and by traditional, it's like tried and true method of gameplay that's familiar. Because it's like Silksong runs way better than any traditional platform. It's smooth, like the combat's clean and whatnot, but it's not reinventing the wheel, so to speak. It's not creating a new combat system that's confusing, and it's not telling a story that's up its butt in its preachiness. It is doing something that's traditionally successful and doing it well and presenting it in a good way. I mean, think of like Dragon Age. What did everybody wanted is a traditional Dragon Age. We wanted to fight dragons. We wanted sword porn. We wanted to be able to kill monsters. We wanted the lore from Dragon Age. Yeah. What did they do? They kind of recreated Dragon Age in a new political sort of lens. Now it was about pronouns and character drama and these weird romance. And it's like, that's not like, it's not a traditional form of storytelling. It's not a traditional way that game would play. I mean, you can improve gameplay, but it's like, it feels like they're constantly trying to rewrite it and they're not successful. Guess what works? What worked before? That's what works. I know it seems shocking. Ross left us, but oh, well, there's Ross again.
Sorry, my Discord had an absolute fit. I dropped when you were talking about Dragon Age, and it's annoying because I had a point that I wanted to bring up real quick that kind of falls in line with what we're talking about.
Oh, go ahead.
Well, we know what's interesting about the original Dragon Age Origins, is that it was a return to form of the CRPG.
Yeah.
Because the CRPG had died, almost 10 years earlier? So by the time 2009 rolled around, I mean, having a CRPG like that, I mean, on console especially.
I mean, the creators, didn't they specifically say they wanted to make a Baldur's Gate?
Pretty much, yeah.
I believe so, yeah. That sounds right.
So it's interesting that, like, Dragon Age Veilguard is like that series has gotten to the point now where it's like, oh god, it completely strayed from what it was. And it almost, I mean, some would argue almost immediately. I mean, some would say by the second game it was. But it is kind of sad because originally it was supposed to be like, like Battlefield 6, like Expedition 33, these kind of return to the old style game.
And what's been failing is people trying, and it's not even just old style game. It's like traditionally functional ways of writing. It feels like there's a constant effort to be cynical or create morally gray characters or break from like a traditional 3-act writing style, like the capacity to make serious, emotionally grounded stories. Everything's got to be ambiguous or cynical or tongue-in-cheek, and it gets exhausting because like trying to rewrite how traditional story forms are established doesn't seem to be working for them. Now I'm going to go into that much deeper, but we'll set that aside. One thing I want to bring up As I went and looked up the 2025's best-selling games thus far, and this is from October 8th. Let's look at the best-selling games. Let's see, EA Soccer, Doom.
Oh. Okay.
Doom is a well-established brand. PGA
Yep.
Tour 18. GTA 5, which has been out for quite a few years now.
Forever. 12
Civ
years.
7.
Oh, dear.
Minecraft.
Been out
Minecraft
forever.
is still one of the top-selling games this year. NBA 2K25. EA Sports MVP Bundle. Forza 5.
Oh.
Split Fiction. I haven't heard of this game, but Split Fiction.
Oh, it's
Madden
like the,
NFL 26. I heard
yeah,
it's
a
good.
co-op game. Mhm.
Yeah. Kingdom Come Deliverance.
Oh, yay.
WWE 2K25. Has anyone seen a pattern yet? Elden Ring Night Rain. That's right, Elden Ring. Actually, the original Elden Ring is also still one of the higher selling games this year.
Good lord.
MLB The Show, NBA 2K26, Call of Duty Black Ops, Oblivion. The remastered Oblivion is number 3 on top
Good
selling
God.
games. College Football 26, Monster Hunter Wilds. So, with this evidence, Silver, what do you think is a pattern that we're seeing?
Oh, nostalgia. Just bringing back, old game formula of games that worked.
Yeah, a repeat soccer game is not going to surprise anybody.
Yeah,
Right.
it's the same thing every time, but my gosh,
Every
they
year.
work.
Yeah. And you know exactly what you're getting. Why? Because it works.
Yeah.
What?
Also, why Silk Song worked. It was just like Hollow Knight.
Yeah, it's exactly what you expect. You're not being surprised by anything. I wrote some random numbers down just to clarify to Ross what the numbers mean in the docket we have.
Mhm.
491,000 is the highest player count for Black Ops 6. 474,000 is the current player count for Battlefield 6.
No, on the opening weekend. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
It's doing extremely differently. But I mean, let's extend this to movies. What's doing well in movies?
I mean that Conjuring movie last month did really
Yes.
well, didn't it?
What is this, the seventh
yeah.
Conjuring
Oh,
movie?
yeah.
It did really well. Why?
The
Because
fourth one of the main series.
yeah, people really want to see The Conjuring. And it's not because it would be easy to fall into the trap, oh, this is a recognized IP and stuff. I think it's deeper than that. You know, Conjuring, they've established a well-structured story. They investigate the problem. They go to the house. Spooky things happen. They struggle with the it follows a well-structured, familiar story that people enjoy. They get to see more spookiness. It's not reinventing the wheel. And they work.
Mm-hmm.
It works. Superman didn't work. Now there's a myriad of reasons why it didn't work, but let's think of it at least a bit more meta, pull back.
Okay.
We know what Superman's supposed to be. I saw it with my mother. She's like, this is a Superman. Because she knows who Superman's supposed to be. It's ingrained in American culture and world culture. She's seen Superman since the black and white George Reeve.
Mhm.
You know that's not super. It doesn't feel like Superman. Why? Because we know Superman. And why did James Gunn change it? Because he thinks he can rewrite the wheel. He can re-envision Superman in a new way. Superman's punk rock now. You know, the new punk rock is to be nice and kind to people. That's the new punk rock.
The new
Also
punk
to
rock.
lose constantly and not be super.
Yeah, and God.
Have a confusing, meandering story that doesn't work very well.
And have the movie just not kind of be about you, really.
Yeah, Sinners was good.
Named after you. Sinners was great.
And it's a new brand. Why did Sinners work when others didn't?
Well, you know what? Everyone loves a trapped by vampire story, right?
Yeah, it's vampires.
Mhm.
They're fighting vampires. It's kind of a bottle show where they're in at least one or two locations, mostly the one. They're trying to fight off vampires outside. It's constantly sort of expanding threat. They could have done vampires pitch black or whatever, and it would have functioned as a story. Why? Because the story makes sense. Its structure's going in a logical direction. They're not rewriting the wheel. What other movies have worked out? Yeah, what has been good this year?
The
Two ones
frickin'
come out this year.
How to Train Your Dragon made
Yeah.
buku money.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, a repeat.
word for word.
Yeah. Guess what also did well? Lilo and Stitch.
Sure did.
Yeah.
It was like $1 billion movie. Why? Because Lilo and Stitch works. Because it's already good.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. And once again, you could fall into the trap of Lilo and Stitch brand recognition. Yes, but why is Lilo and Stitch good? Because the story's good.
The Little Mermaid failed.
Yes. What's the difference? Because they changed Little Mermaid. They changed the story. They changed from something that worked to something that didn't work.
Yep.
It changed the concept. People's expectations were shifted. When me and Ross were talking before the podcast 6 hours ago, we were sort of thinking, because we had Tron come out and it's not doing well, and Peacemaker came out and it kind of sucks, and
Yeah, nobody's talking about it really, except
And
for
a lot
how
of the-
bad it is.
a lot of the big games are terrible. But it's what's working? Oh, the stuff we already know works. A good platformer. Classically established battlefield combat system. Doesn't have to rewrite anything. Doesn't have to change a story. Doesn't have to be, you know what I mean?
Right.
What's
One
functioning
thing
and
that
what's
occurs
not.
to me. So there obviously games have been around now since the 70s. And they've obviously just gotten more and more complex since then. But the thing is that every time that we've gone through a new generation of games, the thing is that things like Battlefield 6, right? They there's a formula behind how you build a game, that type of game, and how you make it fun for the player. And it seems to me that this formula exists for a reason. It's tried and true for a reason. It's been around for a while. You've tested it, you've worked on it, you've ignored it and seen the consequences, and yet the game companies still are at war with this formula. You know what I mean?
Well,
It's
right.
like,
So
I
it
can't
works.
believe.
It works.
Yeah.
Why are they changing it?
Yeah, it's like it's almost invariably going to happen. It's almost inevitable that you get one game and the public latches onto it and they play the crap out of it, and they want the second game, and the second game sucks in comparison to the first game because they decided, you know what, we need to change this thing up. We can't just have the same controls as before. We have to do this new thing, and we have to and I'm not even talking about like story beats or anything. I'm just talking about pure functioning game mechanics. It's like they go in and they say, you know what, we need to tweak this, and it's like, do you really?
Well, and experimentation
really
isn't always
need to?
bad. I would like to point back at sort of the point, the title of the podcast. Why audiences are craving the familiar. And it feels like what is coming out feels unfamiliar. And when things are successful is because we're moving back to what's more familiar. I think we're getting exhausted by people trying to rewrite the formula, and the formula is not working. And lo and behold, much to everyone's shock and horror, a game that just does a traditional Battlefield setup is selling well.
Yeah, and one thing that is going to probably not shock any of us, but when they get to Battlefield 7, they won't have learned the lesson.
No,
They'll try to tweak it and they'll try to change it, and Battlefield 7 won't do as well as 6.
I jotted a bunch of stuff down because I started thinking about sort of the attitudes in writing and what's changed. And I've come up with some interesting things, not just through my own ideas, but I started searching for other articles and points people have made. So follow with me on this. There seems to be an attitude of like postmodern fatigue.
Mm-hmm.
As I could tell, writers currently have been leaning on things like deconstruction, meta humor, and
Right.
subversion rather than telling simply
yeah.
sincere storytelling, emotionally grounded storytelling. Let me give you an example. Oh my gosh, my stuff is all over the place. Well, Marvel is a good example. It used to be sincere. The story structure
Yeah,
used to have sort of your traditional 3-act story structure. And then it moved to, I guess, jokey and sort of, how would I describe it? Feel and tone
Mhm.
more important than sincerity and story.
Okay. Yeah.
I should have structured this better, and I'm trying to look at my notes on a laptop that's too far away. Current stories are confusing surprise with depth, and I think surprise seems to be a common trope that's used in common storytelling
Yeah.
today.
And like you said, the subversion of expectations.
Well, and that's a current attitude of we don't want to follow how traditional stories have been told. It's like the idea that traditional story structure is considered to be, I guess, old-fashioned or misogynist
Yeah.
or something. And so everybody feels like they need to rewrite the formula and try and tell stories in a new and subversive way. All the characters need to be like gray and cynical, which seems weird to me. It's like nobody can follow sort of a story arc and learn from their growth and overcome their problems. Everybody ends sort of like, well, I'm jaded about the world. Like the writers are jaded about everything.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you have like the Batman with Christopher Nolan and stuff that that's not anyway. They did a kind of a grittier version of Batman, and suddenly it's like that's all they can think of is we have to do a gritty Batman, or we have to this movie we're going to do it, and it's going to be a rom-com. It's not gritty enough. It's like, well, a rom-com's not supposed to be gritty.
Well, even just think about the Batman. Extend that further. The Batman versus, like, let's say Christopher Nolan Batman. Sure, it's gritty, but Christopher Nolan Batman was gritty.
Yes,
the new Batman, did the character have a story arc? Did he grow? Think about it.
yeah.
Did he have a redemption? Or was he just perpetually a broken protagonist all the way to the end?
Yeah.
Because that's what we're getting.
Yeah.
Yep.
Characters who don't grow.
No. Yeah, that like even in those Christopher Nolan ones, absolutely. There's growth, there's change in them. I mean, even if it's not like the biggest.
Everything's dealt with cynically.
Mm-hmm. It's one of the things that I've lamented about with the superhero movies. It's like a superhero isn't allowed to be a superhero. You know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, even the few superhero movies I've watched, I mean, Iron Man, like Tony Stark changes. I mean, even in the first movie, Thor, which is perhaps the least serious of those early Marvel films, And there's absolutely growth with him, despite the fact it's,
Oh yeah.
probably the silliest of those early ones, just even in premise. But like, yeah, that is there a lot of growth in these later heroes? It doesn't seem like it.
Well, and it seems to me that they're taking archetypes that exist and they're basically told to question the archetypes nowadays. That you don't just have a traditional hero, you're supposed to question that structure of a character. Well, do we really have to create a character that's like this? Instead of sort of understanding the archetypes and why they work in storytelling. Almost like the current political attitude, you're supposed to question all traditional forms of storytelling or even structure.
The thing is that there is a valid reason behind asking questions about the archetype and stuff.
But they don't ask questions; they dismiss it.
Yeah, it's either they ask the wrong questions, or they ask questions and don't like the conclusions, and so reject.
I don't think they're asking questions.
Reject it outright.
I think their knee-jerk reaction is it came before and it's part of a structure of storytelling that's old-fashioned, and I'm going to rewrite the story. Yeah. Think about Indiana Jones. Hey, Indiana Jones, one of the greatest heroes of all time, always sticks through it, doesn't give up, sort of thing. The new movie, he's an old man who's jaded and has given up.
Yeah.
Why? Because they're rethinking what these characters should be. It's like somebody goes, oh, well, this hero wins at the end. It's like, well, why do they have to win at the end? Kathleen Kennedy had a famous line where when she was a secretary and they were making Indiana Jones, she piped in when they were talking about it. It's like, well, what if he doesn't get the girl at the end? He gets the dog. It's like, what the hell are you talking about, Kathleen Kennedy? It's because the idea is to subvert what had come before. To think, well, I could do this different. Look, you can make a story that bucks archetypes, but the problem is you can't do that well unless you understand archetypes. Instead, I don't think they give a shit about archetypes at all. I don't think they're trying to structure their stories in a traditional fashion. I think they're just trying to... I think they just dismiss it out of hand because it comes from a pre-existing world, and everything attached to that is evil or gross or it's misogynist or patriarchal, however they want to view it. And when all of the writers are going through academia right now, they are going through a system that's dismissing why stories work in the first place because they don't care about that way of writing.
Well, it's like you mentioned before with the traditional storytelling, that it comes from a misogynist viewpoint or a patriarchy or all this stuff. The thing is that you can tell a good story and make it feminist. You can tell a good story and make it LGBTQ, whatever you want to do it. The whole purpose behind the 3-act thing and the hero's journey and all that stuff is to tell a story. It has nothing to do with where it came from. The thing is that story structure has been around for so long, and the reason it's stuck around for so long is because of how successful it is at telling a story. It doesn't have to be, it's just the structure. It has nothing to do with the content.
There's not being political, but there's a good example of somebody describing sort of how a liberal and conservative would view something. And they said, let's say there's a fence in the middle of a field. A liberal might walk in and be like, well, I'm going to tear down this fence. It's in the way. Why is it here? There's no reason it should be here. Where the conservative might go, oh, wait, there could be a good reason why this fence is here. And even though we don't know, maybe we shouldn't tear it down without understanding why the fence works. Maybe we shouldn't try and tear down things that function, like Battlefield's combat system, Battlefield's way of gameplay, without understanding why it works in the first place.
Yeah.
Why does Ghost of Tsushima work? Because it's a very traditional story about samurai and honor and that sort of thing. why would completely change that the gender and the storytelling and make the new character lesbian or whatever they're doing? Why might that not work? Well, because you don't understand why the first one worked in the first place. It's like they lack the capacity to understand why why what we're doing, and it doesn't have to be strictly storytelling, but I went down the storytelling rabbit hole. Why does it work? And we're seeing people flood to what was already working in the first place and not moving towards these new brand. Like they're not even new brands, but trying to reinvent the wheel. James Gunn just shows up and thinks that he can recontextualize Superman, who's the oldest superhero practically of all time. And you can reinvent or recontextualize Superman as if you have the capacity. Everybody knows who Superman is, his values, where he comes from, what he does. And now you're like, actually, his parents are terrible and they wanted him to conquer the planet and have a harem. I watched countless reaction videos to Superman. Every single reaction, everybody went, oh, well, he clearly faked that video. Every single one, because nobody could believe that was true. No one.
Right.
And none of them understand that it was true. They still walked away from that film being like, oh, well, he faked that video. Every time. Because we know it's stupid.
Mm-hmm.
We know it doesn't work.
Exactly.
You were going to say something, Jason?
Well, one of the things that I think that a lot of people forget, especially about video games, like you said, you've gone down the rabbit hole of storytelling. There is a modicum of storytelling even in the simplest video game, and if you ignore that storytelling aspect, then your game suffers. You know, like I said, even in the simplest, you go back to the Atari days. Pac-Man still had a little bit of a story. Now, obviously, as games have gotten progressively more complex as the years have gone on, that story aspect has gotten more and more important. And so what we see, like you said, is there's a return to these games that adopt the traditional formula, because the games that have tried to do this, bucking that traditional narrative, don't work. They fail spectacularly. And like I said, with that added complexity in video games now, it's become almost an inseparable part of video games to have a really solid story that's part of your game.
Well, just think
you can still have a good game.
Think of a traditional
but it's not a great game if it has a poor story.
Well, sure, but even think of like a traditional gameplay loop. Was it action, reward, progress?
Mm-hmm.
And then you play something where it's like, I'm making actions, I don't feel a reward, and I don't feel like I'm making progress.
Right, exactly.
That you have to reward people with the carrot for continuing the actions, even if it's repetitive action. And instead, they seem to lack the capacity to understand that that's why it works. And then we're seeing games now that are trying to like lean heavily on narrative, but narrative isn't even well-structured narrative. Most of the narrative seems to be structured around things like vibes, like feeling.
Yeah.
I'm not joking.
No, I know you're not joking. I laugh because of how true that is.
Well, and a lot of how they make stuff seems to be sort of like they want to create engagement rather than sort of or some sort of emotional rhythm, I guess, rather than some sort of struggle, reward, payoff sort of structure. And that goes with storytelling as well as video game gameplay, as whatever it happens to be.
Yeah.
That a lot of it is structured around, oh, well, I want emotional writing, but mocking traditional stuff, and I want vibes, and one of the hardest things to do is not have this weird sense of detached irony constantly, as you go
Right.
as you go through. Like that seems to be a constant theme with most content today. A weird sense of detached irony.
I can't. Silver can probably speak to this a lot more than I can. What I see is, at my job, and then I have kids in high school and stuff. What I hear from them a lot of times is about vibes. It's about vibes and
Yeah.
stuff like that. And so, like I said, Silver, you probably see this a lot more than we do, just because of the age gap between us. And maybe you can speak to that more.
I don't even. I hear vibes and I immediately am disgusted. I don't know. It's just like,
Well, how about I can recontextualize it this way? A lot of media seems to be consumed in very short periods of time because I guess we've trained young people to get small dopamine hits as they go through things like TikTok. And,
Yeah.
and get little hits of like, oh, there's a little cat or something. Like I'll find myself watching a YouTube video that I'm interested in, and the little like ad in the beginning is like a minute long, and I'm like, I'm not a minute long interested in this video. Like I'll just not watch it because I'm not willing to sit through a minute just to see what I wanted to see. And that a lot of what we're getting through content has a lot more to do with the little dopamine hits and the vibes we get from it, like a TikTok or a YouTube short or whatever. And that's being translated in how they view creating content. It's a lot about this, the feeling you get, and then everything has to have some sort of cynical wink and nod. A lot of things are meta now. There's a lot of like winking at the screen or sort of like a meta commentary, or you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think, Silver?
Yeah.
yeah. We did a previous podcast on the short attention span thing.
Yeah, we did.
But
Yeah, we
my
did.
gosh. Yeah, it does feel like they're doing things that's just like, okay, instead of you work hard through like a game in order to get that reward, which is what makes like the Dark Souls games feel so good. Instead, it's like what you're saying, just like a bunch of little things here and there that's just like, I don't feel rewarded now. This is sad.
And I guess what I was trying to go with was, since you're around more younger people than us, you probably see more
Yes,
often
the
people talking
youths.
about vibes and how it makes them feel and stuff like that.
In my day-to-day life is just
I'm not saying that
hearing.
you're not revolted by it, but
Well, yeah, I'm just saying, like, yes, you're right. My day-to-day life, it's constantly hearing, oh my gosh, did they pass the vibe check? You're not giving me the right energy. It's giving me, like,
ugh.
Y2K vibes. That's my life.
Most of them weren't alive during Y2K.
Oh god. Am I
Seriously.
that old now? Kill me.
And even, okay, a little tiny bit off, but it's hilarious. I had a organic chemistry teacher who was having some problems with like a projector, and if suddenly like everything just kind of shut down, and someone in the back of the class was like, oh, it's Y2K, and then he just went on with the lecture, and then
Gosh.
suddenly he stopped, looked up, and went, what did you say, Y2K? You weren't even alive then. So yeah.
Well, Ross, what do you think?
I don't know. I'll be honest. There's been a thing. I mean, I guess getting back to like the games aspect of it, like the big noticeable thing, especially in the online shooter world right now, is like it is the Battlefield 6 coming out from the back of the pack, as it were, to kind of take over COD's spot, and COD not really like the whole thing with COD is that it strayed so completely from where it was. I mean, because these these game series are not that like they're not that old, like different in age. I think Battlefield is 1 year older, and Call of Duty came out 1 year after, like it came out in 03, and Battlefield 02. And they have just strayed so completely far. I mean, because there's always iteration, right? Like Call of Duty was picking up the baton from Medal of Honor,
Yeah.
but then with Call of Duty 4 and the Modern Warfare craze, like that changed everything, right? And they sort of iterated on that same thing for a while. And there were some games that were better liked than others, whatever. But now we have like Seth Rogen and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles doing like death like animations on you, and bright pink like metallic guns. Like what the hell's happened? Like even beyond things like game modes and stuff, like Call of Duty having a battle royale. Like I mean, it's even beyond that. I mean, it's just what are we? What are we doing
Chasing
now?
trends. I mean, remember
Yeah.
Battlefield 5 when everybody was like, oh, we're going back to World War II. World War II that made Battlefield recognizable. And the trailer came out, and it was full of diverse characters and a woman main character with a prosthetic that wouldn't function at that time, with like gold guns, with tassels, and everyone's like, what the hell is this? When was this in World War II? Like, what am I looking at?
And
Like,
it was especially shocking after Battlefield 1.
Yes.
Because that was the game that immediately preceded it. And it was... I mean, look, Battlefield 1 is not like a realistic or super historically accurate. However, in the opposite direction, we were talking about vibes and stuff, but in the opposite direction, it absolutely tries to nail atmosphere and feeling and like very cinematically in a way, World War One. Is it historically accurate? No. But it tries. It takes what it can use gameplay-wise and try to make it feel authentic to some degree. And Battlefield 5, I mean, it was like a splash of cold water, comparatively. It was so baffling how they completely strayed immediately away from what they were doing in Battlefield 1.
I was thinking as you were talking about that, one thing we don't often get in storytelling is like character resolution anymore.
Especially now, yeah.
It's almost like
Yeah.
they're afraid to give characters sort of a resolution at the end of things.
Consequences for their actions.
Characters don't evolve. You don't
No,
get
they
better.
don't. They don't evolve. They don't resolve the issues that they have. Things just sort of happen, and we all just sort of... What was the thing we heard from behind the scenes? That it's like, well, it's just got to be fun. It just needs to be fun. Like, it doesn't matter what happens. Like, that kind of explains Thor: Love and Thunder. It's this whole vibe, and it's fun and stupid.
Yeah. And look,
A movie or a game can just be fun and stupid.
but it all has to work together.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
I mean, the not to always go back to it because I usually do, but Halo 1, as we know it, as we got it on the original Xbox, that game was made in like 6 months. It had a really bizarre development history, and I think it was Jamie, his name's Greisemer, developer on one of the behind the scenes. He has the famous quote about 30 seconds of fun. And yeah, when you break down video games, like the gameplay loop, right? It's, 30 seconds of fun. But they took that 30 seconds of fun and they built everything else around it. Is there an immense amount of world building in Halo, like Combat Evolved? No, but what's there fits. And it fits the gameplay, and it fits the look, and the look fits it. Like it all kind of comes together and works pretty good.
There's a cohesion.
Yes, absolutely. Which is a thing that this is a sub discussion, but that's another problem I think with modern games, specifically with remakes, that I think we're going to start noticing more and more as games that were really popular have gotten old enough now that they feel like they can remake them or remaster them. There will be good ones, yes. There will also be ones that are close, but there's stuff that's off and it will bother people. I mean,
yeah.
I know, like, Rhett, you really enjoyed Oblivion Remake.
Yep.
I had a harder time with it because it looked so wrong to me. And that's not to say it's a bad remake. I mean, look, we've had
It's
so
Oblivion,
much
but
worse.
We've had some bad
prettier.
ones.
Yeah, like we've had look at the Silent Hill remakes. They're fucking horrible. Those remasters are absolute terror. Like they're complete dog water. But so I mean, comparatively, like Oblivion remasters pretty good. But it's still like and it's the over reliance on Unreal 5. If I'm being honest, I think it's going to be a curse, a drag.
Unreal 5 has problems.
Yeah, as developers get further away from developing their own engines, as the brain drain in the industry continues, I think we're going to see more and more of that.
Isn't Fallout still using that busted engine?
Yep, and Halo Infinite was still using essentially the same engine. I think they call it Blam, that Halo CE used from the early thousands, and it is a nightmare too. And they're making a big deal. Oh, we're going to Unreal 5, and it's like, oh god, don't. Like,
Nah.
yeah, because it has its own problems. It's very greedy.
Well, and we're getting these remakes and remasters. It's like little Final Fantasy Tactics.
Yeah.
Why is it great? Why is a remake great? Because it's remaking something that was already good.
Mm-hmm.
And it didn't even remake, so to speak. It remastered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why did Oblivion work? Because it was Oblivion. It wasn't new Oblivion. It wasn't re-envisioned Oblivion.
Mm-hmm.
Why does re-releasing a game function? Because it's already something we know. We're familiar with it, and it works. And if they change something, we know about it because we know the other game too well.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I think some of it harkens back to the fact that the original game, like you said, the original game was good. And one of the reasons that the original game was good is it had a good game loop, it had a good story, it had good world building, and had that cohesion among all the disparate parts that made it into a great game, right? And so when they're doing a remaster, they're usually not touching any of that stuff. What they're doing is they're taking the graphics and up-resing them for the current consoles and the current hardware. And so you're getting those disparate pieces that all still work together. They're all still cohesive, and so it's not something that's out of whack. And when they do introduce something that doesn't fit with the rest of it, it's immediately, it sticks out like a sore thumb kind of thing. And so a lot of times, especially with those remasters, I think they go a lot more careful with those because they realize that one, they had a good product, and so they don't have to go heavy-handed. And like you said, with the Final Fantasy Tactics, they took a look at the things that didn't work well, like Cloud. You get him so late in the story that he's almost useless to you as a character, and they're like, you know what, we should tweak that and make it so that he's actually a useful character. And so while they stuck with the gameplay loop that was good, they stuck with the story that was good, and they just looked at the things that didn't work and tweaked those. That's what it seems to be when you have a good remaster on your hand.
Okay, yeah. We are getting close to approaching a point I wanted to reach. Well, not that I wanted to force a conclusion, but there was something interesting I thought about before we got to this point. Which I thought was a common problem you were seeing with a lot of modern media today. And the point of the discussion was sort of, why are we treading back to familiar rather than chasing after? Because, I mean, Hades, though it's like the second one out now, it's not necessarily a new. Hades, the first one, isn't that old.
No.
Silksong's good. Expedition 33 is a brand new game.
Yeah.
It's really good. Why is that working? Why didn't Dragon Age Veilguard work?
I mean, Expedition 33 is very much a love letter to like Final Fantasy and games like it.
Yes.
Classic JRPGs.
The story is actually very weird. It's very
Mhm.
interesting. It is a story I've never thought of before.
Mhm.
It is a creative, interesting world. Gameplay does not rewrite the. I mean, there's some interesting stuff. Like it's weird. You play like a Final Fantasy turn-based sort of thing, but there's active like timing to parry and block. It's kind of odd or dodge. So you have to actively like participate when they're hitting you to try and like dodge it. It's kind of interesting. It reminds me like remember Final Fantasy VIII? If you hit what was it R1 at the right time, he would shoot the gun blade while he hit the guy.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
So you kind of actively were part of it, but it's a familiar sort of concept, but it doesn't. I'm not saying experimentation and changing up the formula and creating something new is not something that you can do. Sinners proves that they experimented, but what it's not doing is completely bucking what functions.
Right.
The monomyth was written for a reason, and not because this is the only way stories can be structured. Because you can buck certain elements of the monomyth, or buck certain like there are stories that work well that have a 4-act structure. The reason why these were written down is because hey, this sort of flow of story works really well. Why did we figure that out? Well, we learned this over thousands of years, believe it or not. Like the 3-act structure is as old as like Greek plays.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said before, it's something that humanity has experimented with since the dawn of storytelling, and they're like, well, this worked well, and so it was perpetuated. It's like they're going back and they're looking at things and saying, you know what, we need to reinvent the wheel. Well, why do you need to reinvent the wheel? Well, because it was, because of all these things that we perceive are underpinning the wheel. And it's like, is that actually true, or is that just your perception of how things are? And we see what has happened. The When they depart from these things that have been tested and tried over thousands of years, they don't work well. And when the developers and the writers and things go back to those things that did work well and have that track record, suddenly they're starting to work again.
Okay, now we've established this, and I think we've made this argument thoroughly, at least explored it. What are we missing?
What are we missing?
Positive vibes.
Do you,
Vibes.
do you have a specific point you're going for?
Sort of.
Okay.
Think of the discussion we had about cohesion and why everything is working together. I think how about I put it in this way? When you start to sort of develop this cynical effort to look at Thor: Love and Thunder. Look at Dragon Age Veilguard. What are they lacking? Sincerity, emotional sincerity. Almost like they're afraid of taking itself too seriously. That everything kind of has to be sort of a wink and a nod and a look at the camera, or Deadpool, as much as it has flaws and was fun, kind of falls perfectly into the category of this. There's some sort of like meta cynical commentary. And what's working nowadays is we're seeing not only sincerity but cohesion in a lot of the storytelling. It's not just familiar and it's not just traditional, because I can find examples of stuff that's working that's not a traditional format, or that is not a traditional form of storytelling, or even is not even that's a new IP. Because a lot of people like to go, oh, well, IP, so, Jurassic Park. Well, Jurassic Park
Right.
worked. I heard it was bad. I haven't seen it. Jurassic Park worked. Superman didn't. Well, what makes one versus the other?
Something that just came to mind, and I think we addressed it a little bit, but maybe not as much. One of the things that just popped into mind as we were discussing these things is that the I think one of the reasons that none of this stuff works is because they don't understand the formula. They don't understand why something was good or bad in the
There
first
you
place.
go. Here, let me read a sentence I wrote down. Experimentation without discipline, lots of fragmented tones and vibe storytelling with no structural integrity.
Mm.
They don't get why it works,
and
and
like I
so
said,
when
I
you
think
experiment and change it, you don't understand
Why
how to make it better.
yeah.
Because
Like I said, I think
they
we did address
completely
it.
rejected why stuff was functioning in the first place and thought they were smarter than all of the knowledge and experience to establish what made for a good game or a good movie or a good story or a good TV show or a good comic book or a good whatever. And they built upon it a cynical attitude of how much they hated. Maybe there's some sort of underlying political attitude of hating Eurocentric patriarchal structures and seeing this all attached to it. But they looked at what was built over, whether it's thousands of years or dozens of years with the video games, and thought to themselves, why does it have to be that way? I could just redo it. I could just do it differently. And think of it like painting a painting, but not having a traditional art training. Look at Picasso. Picasso didn't start out drawing weird faces. He started out drawing traditional paint. Exactly. Experimentation isn't bad, but experimenting without understanding what works is just throwing stuff at a wall.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Do you see where I'm going with this?
Yeah.
We've kind of so I know we've talked about this a little bit in other podcasts. We addressed this in we were talking, I believe, about Indiana Jones at the time, and we were talking about the fact that like Steven Spielberg and George Lucas were inspired by the serials and things that they watched, Saturday morning as kids. And we don't have that kind of storytelling anymore. And so the current crop of writers, it's like, in order for them to understand, they would have to go back to the roots and be immersed in them to go forward. And
I think you have a point there, but it's not just. It's hard to understand Indiana Jones or writing Indiana Jones. We didn't exist in that culture. They're not even being taught how to write correctly.
Yeah.
It's not even culture. They're even taught in classes that it's like, well, that's some misogynist, like shitty Eurocentric bullshit.
Right. I like I was saying that I was gonna get to the second part. I think that there's two parts to it. One is that they don't know the material that some of these stories are based on, and the other is that it's like, instead of being taught this is how story structures has evolved over time, and that it has been around for at this point thousands of years, and there's a reason why we do this. The thing is that in order for you to be able to buck a trend, or to be able to successfully subvert expectations or anything like that, you have to first understand the rule and why it's there, why it's in place. Once you understand it and then at that point you can then experiment. It's like you said with Picasso. he was an amazing artist. I can't say that I like his cubism and all that
yeah.
other stuff, but he had some great portraits, amazing portraits. The guy could draw. The guy was an amazing artist, but he had that background first. He knew how to paint. He knew how to draw, and then he was able to then branch off on his own and do his own thing.
Ross,
But
do you
like you said, they're not teaching them anymore how
No.
to um, uh, follow the rules.
It's all vibes. Ross, do you remember that RPG that came out recently? It was like mushrooms based or some really boring first person.
Forspoken for.
I think Forspoken
Yeah.
was with the.
Oh no. Yeah, it's the Obsidian one. Hold on.
Yeah.
I got to look it up because it's that bad. It's that boring.
Do you remember the problem with that
Avowed.
game? Wasn't it most of the people who worked on it? It was their first game.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
As I recall, that was the case.
And there were a lot of problems with it. And it wasn't even that it was just busted. It was dull and lifeless and boring.
Mm-hmm.
Like characters didn't move.
No, and that was a case of the things not being very cohesive. Certainly looks wise, like the setting and what they wanted, it didn't match.
It's almost like the point I was trying to make is coming full circle.
Yeah,
Um,
like they wanted to have a medieval fantasy game, and it
Yep.
looks like it should be a pirate game.
It feels to
Pirate
me
game.
like what we have nowadays is a lot of people making content without the intention to understand why things were working in the first place and think they could just rewrite the wheel.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything wrong with making new IPs. They can work. I think you
Yeah.
could experiment with your games and mix up the combat systems.
Mhm.
But don't completely change the combat system if you don't understand why the other one was working in the first place. Because now you're just like, well, why do I have to do that? Let's do. Then you're just Kathleen Kennedy being like, well, why does he have to get the girl at the end? It's like, because that works. They want him to be rewarded for being heroic. You dumbass.
Yeah, but why?
Well, why can't he just get the dog? And it's like, oh my gosh.
It's dude.
But the dig. Did I drag us through a really long way to get to the conclusion I was dragging for?
No, I liked it.
That was suspenseful.
Oh, thank you.
Like the story.
Oh, oh, snap, Silver. Do you find flaws in what I was trying to get at, as poorly structured as it
I think
was?
you nailed it. I hate people.
No, it's like you mentioned before at the beginning with the whole liberal conservative thing where they see a fence in a field and the liberal is like, well, I need to tear this fence down, and the conservative
that
is,
way.
why was this fence put here in the first place? Let's
Yeah.
figure out why that fence exists, and then maybe let's remove it.
Yeah.
You when you go to ride a bike, your parents put training wheels on it, not because you're going to ride with those training wheels forever, but because you don't have the balance, you don't have the requisite skills to be able to ride that bike without a little bit of help. We have
I'd ride
handrails,
bike
we
for
have
a training
guardrails
wheel.
on things for a reason.
And come to think of it, as we're talking about this stuff, it popped into my mind the fact that I've heard multiple times that often in writing rooms in Hollywood, they'll hire based upon sort of diversity rather than
Yeah.
writing ability, and that they'll have rooms full of like 20 or 30 like diverse groups of men and women and different genders and sexes and races and whatnot, all coming up with random ideas. And that oftentimes it comes down to a couple middle-aged white guys that have been there forever to actually make everything coherent, because they just throw ideas at the wall. And it's like everybody. Here's one thing you'll find, and everybody thinks they're at least smarter than. You'll find this often. Everybody thinks they're above average intelligence, which means no one's average. And you'll find that everybody has ideas, just like everybody has shit.
Yeah.
Everybody thinks their ideas are brilliant, and everybody else's ideas are stupid. Everybody has ideas. We are creative people. We think of we think up ideas. We think of creative, clever ways to do it. You can have people that are lower IQ than you come up with interesting, clever ideas, especially when you're probably average.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody has ideas. Being able to turn that idea into something that works, narratively, gameplay-wise, artistically, that's where the skill is involved. It's being able to translate that idea into something that functions. And simply going, well, we could do this, 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 and this. And it's like, yeah, but I mean, look at any good director. A lot of movies that turn out really good is when a director labors over whether or not something should be left in or not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For the sake of the story, or I mean, how many video games out there you're like, oh, a lot of stuff was cut along the way. There was hours of Lord of the Rings footage we haven't seen.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw some recently leaked online where like Frodo and Gandalf were riding in the carriage through an empty field. I was like, where was this?
Yeah. He's teaching him Elvish.
Yeah, teaching him Elvish. It was like, this wasn't the movie. No, it wasn't. Because you have to eventually create a movie that has coherency, that makes sense. And you can't do that if you don't understand what a good movie is.
Yeah.
Like, you lack the capacity to wrap your brain around logic and reason and coherency. And it's like, hey, how about at the end, everybody's cynical and sad? It's like, well, because people want to see a character struggle. Well, see, here's why 3 acts work. You're presented with a problem. The character struggles and maybe even fails, and then overcomes problem. Growth.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this sounds insane, I guess. But what you're doing as a writer, as a creator, is you're asking somebody to follow along with the character, and in many ways, self-impose yourself upon the protagonist. And when you do that, you're supposed to relate to them. It's really, it doesn't make you feel good where at the end, everything still is kind of shitty. You don't feel great when there's no conclusion or reward. And they're so emotionally stunted that they lack the capacity to even take the emotion seriously, because they're so afraid of if they take the emotion seriously and they try and give you a logical like resolution, that somehow it'll be mocked in some way.
Yeah, or even if they try to have like a resolution or growth, it feels like forced.
Yeah.
Because there was no struggle at any point.
Yeah, at some it's like, oh well, I learned something. It's like, did you? When did you go through anything? Turn to the camera. This is what I learned today.
We also have the Mary Sues, where you have to have you can't have a female protagonist that learns something or grows. They have to come out fully formed and awesome at everything. And it's like,
well, and that
makes it boring.
That's a perfect example is why Rey doesn't work. The reason why the Mary Sue was such a problem is because she doesn't have anything to struggle, because everything is easy. So that when she comes to the end of it, there's no real character growth, because she didn't really have to overcome anything, because nothing was difficult. And at the end, she wins. So it's like, so why am I following a character that, like, that's not an interesting arc of a character's journey. I need the character to struggle and learn. It would have been more interesting if she was the worst Jedi ever.
Yeah.
Absurdly weak, just constantly struggled to lift rocks. Somehow survived through everything. And then at the end, knowing that she can't beat him, goes anyway. Oh, what a heroic moment for this character. It's not heroic when it's easy.
No.
Final thoughts, Jason?
I think that the studios and things really need to put the training wheels back on for these people.
I don't know if they have the capacity to do that, but I mean, you're not wrong.
And I think that we really need to start doing the whole let's go back to understanding the rules first before we start experimenting with the formula.
What are the rules? What?
Oh, God.
What, Ross?
I haven't thought about that in a while.
Ross, final thoughts?
You know, yeah, I mean, experimentation's good, but definitely understand whether it's gameplay, storytelling, whatever. Like, there's a reason why certain things worked and certain things haven't. It's not to say that it can't work, but, iteration and testing and listening. I mean, so whether if it's betas, listening to your fan base to some degree. I mean, not
Battlefield
everything.
6 listened. They changed
Yeah,
the gameplay.
For the most part they did. They changed some movement stuff, and in other ways they didn't. But that's how it goes. I mean, it's still a video game company, and they're going to do what they want. But this is the most hype they've had in a long time.
A long time. It's almost like people have been hungry for a good Battlefield.
Yeah, I mean, to the point where, there was a while where there was a game called BattleBit, which was like Roblox-looking Battlefield. I mean, so it was like blocky Minecraft-looking guys, but it was Battlefield. I mean, that's how much people wanted that.
Yeah.
And now they're finally giving them what they want, so... good on DICE. We'll see how that works out in the long term with EA. Probably better than BioWare. Anyway.
I'm hungry for good movies. I want a good Tron.
Yeah.
God, you're so
I really want a good movie. Remember when we sat for hours discussing Joker?
Yeah.
Loved it.
Yeah.
Hung out
Very
outside Panda Express and just talked about Joker forever.
Yeah.
I saw a clip today for Pete Holmes where they were making a joke. Pete Holmes is hilarious. But anyway, they had the Joker version of Joker, the Joaquin Phoenix version. And he's like, why are you dancing? And he's like, this is my physical expression of me transferring from my previous self to embracing the Joker persona. And it's like, the director doesn't even agree with that anymore.
Nope. Like at all.
Like, everybody understood why it was good. And then it's like, we get to the second one. It's like, why? What's it? Because he didn't understand why the first one worked.
No.
Or he hated why it worked.
Yeah, I probably more that one. I
Yeah,
think
that's what it
hated
seems like anyway.
Yeah. Silver,
Especially with the comments he made about the second one.
Yeah, we really didn't like number 2. Even if it was good looking, it wasn't good. Silver, what do you think?
We need to make content great again.
Content great again.
It's gonna be great.
We got the greatest content. We're gonna make good content and make Mexico pay for it.
Games 2026.
Disconnected Gamers Podcast still does the same thing over and over again. Nobody watches.
We need to get rid of them.
They're trash. It's really terrible.
They're trying to reinvent the podcast and it's not working.
Gamers.
They don't understand why
all.
people like podcasts. Donald Silverval.
Welcome.
It would have been easy. It would have been easy to follow the trend to talk about Tron, but I was talking to Ross, and I was like, no one wanted to watch Tron, so no one saw it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, everyone's like, oh my gosh, it's Morbid time, and we left.
So it was almost like, you know what? Let's think about this, because there are movies that are working. why are they working and Tron not working? Yeah. It was a fun discussion. I had fun.
Yeah, great time.
Hey, guess what?
Hmm?
You ready for a poopin'?
The Distracted Gamer Podcast. Big steaming pile of new stuff.
As before, we're not going to cram into the bathroom. We're going to have some breeze on our britches. We're hanging out outside the castle to drop a squat. And, just enjoy our time out here as pals.
Yep. With a breath of fresh air
A
before
group,
it's not fresh.
a group poop, if you will.
The group poop. Yeah.
We're a very fecal themed podcast. And the funniest bit of news, we found out that apparently Ubisoft had a Civil War Assassin's Creed game planned.
Oh.
Oh wow.
Set right after the Civil War, and they canceled it because of politics and protagonist backlash because of Shadows. I'm going to tell you right now that whether it's Ubisoft or left-wing individuals, it's important you understand this. We didn't like Yasuke because he was black. We didn't like him because he shouldn't have been there.
Yeah.
That's why we didn't like him. Guess who fits in a post-Civil War era? A black character.
A black guy.
Who would have been? I don't think they understand the capacity. I think they're just like people who had criticisms or just racist is what they came up with.
Oh, these Americans, they do not want the black guy.
And they're like, well, we have protagonist backlash, so we can't put another diverse character in. It's like, no. Here, in a world where Ubisoft still has a capacity to make good games, a post-Civil War Assassin's Creed could be really interesting.
Yeah, it could be very interesting.
In today's world, they do not have the capacity to make this game. With deference and carefulness, not being overtly political and not trying to have there's no way they could make this game
With a little love and some tenderness.
And a little love and tenderness. Yeah, but apparently they had this game in the works and they canceled it.
Well, that was a mistake. They should have gone with that instead of the stupid-ass version of Shadows. The best thing about Shadows is, for the longest time, they're like, well, we could make that, but that's just too easy. Uh-huh.
Yeah. Assassins in Japan. Yeah, that's just we're not going to do it because that's the low hanging fruit.
Little
obvious.
Okay.
Yeah.
Apparently, YouTube is poised to outpace Comcast.
Oh,
wow.
Oh my God.
NBC Universal parent company Comcast has the largest multi-channel video programming distributor in the U.S., but it, like all traditional MVPDs, is steadily losing subscribers by the millions. Guess where most cord cutters are headed? YouTube. Now here's where the difference is. YouTube TV is the only quote-unquote cable provider that is growing at scale worth mentioning. It is poised to surpass paid subscribers.
Wow.
I didn't think people subscribed to YouTube in that bulk, if you will.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have thought so.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Oh, by the way, Diane Keaton passed. That's unfortunate.
Oh.
It's a brave new world, everybody.
Diane Keatonless.
The Diane Keaton in this world. What is this dang Deadline article? Why did it start me at the bottom of the article?
Brett's computer's being taken over.
I don't know what this was supposed to be. What did I put down here? Oh, Paramount is in the... Paramount seems to try and purchase Warner Discovery before they split.
Oh.
And there was a rumor that Netflix might move in and buy it, but Netflix said no. and apparently David Zaslav is trying to like block it, but they're openly traded company. Anyway, it looks like the Paramount moving to buy HBO Warner is more and more likely every day.
Good lord. What a weird time to live in.
Apparently, Call of Duty reportedly lost $300 million in sales as Microsoft has increased Xbox Game Pass prices.
Ouch.
They're blaming the COD poor sales on Game Pass.
Wow.
I am
I can
torn
see
on
that,
that. You and
yeah.
I have talked about that, but I.
Well, why
it
don't you
certainly didn't
express
help
that
it.
feeling?
Well, I think it's a combination of things. Like
I'm
I
a
think
maybe, but yeah.
yeah, like I think it certainly probably like it probably hasn't helped. I would be very confident saying, but there is a lot of baggage with Call of Duty, and they have been annoying people for the last 6, 7, 8 years really badly with their shenanigans. You know, their battle passes, their, again, like I mentioned in our previous discussion, their stupid skins, whether it's operator skins or guns, like all that kind of crap. People are getting over it. So I think it's a combination of all of that.
Do you think this would still be a problem if COD was considered really good?
Probably not.
If everybody
unless
thought the
it was a
game was
case
really
of-
good and it still only sold 300?
Well, I was gonna say it would have to be the inverse of like they so many people are playing this. If we didn't take this deal from Microsoft, we would have made more money. You know what I mean?
Right.
But they're saying that like, well, we didn't make money because people just tried it and then didn't keep playing it. It's like, yeah, but they would have been really unhappy, and depending on the jurisdiction, they could have still refunded their game. So I don't know.
I played
I'm not sure about that one.
I played the single player game and that was it. And that's not why people play COD.
Mhm.
That's why I play COD.
Sure.
I'm like the 1% of people that play it for the single player campaign.
You're one of those weirdos.
I know. IGN gave Battlefield 6 a 5 because its campaign was short. Yeah.
Have they ever played a Battlefield game? They're never long. I don't. Okay.
Well, I'm just telling you, that's what they did.
What did they give Veilguard?
Oh, I bet it was like an 8 or something.
Wow.
Yeah. We have a budget for Stranger Things season 5.
Oh.
It looks like the full season price tag could be in the range of $400 to $480. Some guessing about $500 million, which would place it, because it has less episodes, it would now surpass Rings of Power as the most expensive season ever made.
Yeah.
Wow.
With
God
each
damn.
episode's being between $50 and $60 million a piece.
Oh. That is. I mean, that's Sinners.
Yeah.
I mean that. Well, almost. That's almost a Sinners every episode. Jesus God.
Every episode is probably like 5 Godzilla minus ones.
Uh-oh.
Do you think they're going to get their money's worth? Like it's like
No.
the amount they're spending on it is going to be worth it?
I don't think
No.
so.
Return on that investment?
Yeah, I doubt that.
James Gunn's Superman has ended its theatrical run.
Oh, made billions,
It took
right?
that long?
According to Forbes, it probably lost, it was something like $45 million that we know of.
Oof.
And for all we know, we're going to run into the fact that like we'll get information that it costs more than we thought it did.
Of course. Of course.
They break down the numbers and why they think it cost as much as it did and how much they said that it earned and stuff. But according to Forbes, it lost money.
Yikes.
All right, everybody. I'm going to warn you that we are going to go down rumor. So Here's an article from that Park Place, right?
Mhm.
Now,
Okay.
first of all, they're quoting it as a rumor, mainly because they are quoting that they have an inside source from Sony that told them this. Okay.
Okay.
It's important to preface that that Park Place leans right wing, so you may not trust their information, or you may not trust that they have a legitimate source. So
Yeah.
take this for what it is. We don't have concrete information, but this is what they're saying. And I thought it was interesting. But according to them, Sony is scaling back advertising for Ghost of Yotei because the sales have started to collapse. And they don't think it's going to do well long term, and they don't want to spend money on advertising for a game that's not doing well.
Oof.
This is according to their source in Sony. Expanding upon that, according to their source in Sony, which is probably the same person, Sony is unhappy with working with Western developers and that they might drop Western developers, or at least exclusives with Western developers, and shifts to more Japanese.
Okay.
Specifically because of Ghost of Yotei and Intergalactic the Heretic Prophet, which has not been received well on the internet.
Yeah.
Okay, once again, this is coming from a source that you may or may not trust.
Mm-hmm.
Now, is the game doing well? Here's a big question. Here's another person you may or may not trust, so take this for what it is. I have heard from multiple sources that digital, the best, more concrete number we have is the claim is that digital sales probably are about 1 million. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
$1 million or 1 million units?
Units. $1 million would be abysmal.
Yeah.
Now, according to Grums, who you might not trust, who is a political individual on the internet, he says that his sources have showed him 2.5 million accounts are playing it. Not sold, but are playing it.
Mm.
And this is
Interesting.
down from 3.5 from Ghost of Tsushima in a comparative time period. Okay?
Okay.
So it's less
Is this
than Tsushima over the same period of time.
gotcha?
And Tsushima was a brand new IP.
Yes.
Yotei is not.
No.
Right.
It's theoretically living off the goodwill of the previous.
Yep.
That's really bad. That's not great.
Super bad.
That's embarrassing.
To clarify, Tsushima actually picked up steam over time because people realized it was good
Mm.
and had a lifetime of 13 million. I don't think Yotei is going to have a lifetime of 13 million. Now, I want to clarify something, that there is a huge amount of people trying to glaze this game
Oh yeah.
hard because they are invested in this game being successful because of ideological reasons. You might tell me, like, you might be sitting listening to this podcast going, Rhett, what are you talking about? Ideological reasons? Well, believe it or not,
Yeah.
a lot of people believe that because a game might have a girl in it, that people aren't buying it because there's a girl in it. And now they believe, because they hate that attitude, that they now want it to be successful because there's a girl in it. It's almost like every movie that's ever come out that has a slight political twinge, or they mixed it up in some way, or they changed things for weird reasons. Let's take a Ghostbusters. People were invested that Ghostbusters 2016 had to do well because they hated that people didn't like it for the reasons they didn't like it. So now they had to like it because they didn't like the other people that didn't like it. And there has been a lot of effort to pretend this game is doing amazing. People have been quoting things off the board. I saw somebody directly from Sony claim the 1 million sales and praise. It's like, wow, we got 1 million sales. And then somebody get a clarification that that was down 40% from what Tsushima did. Usually sequels sell better than the game before.
Yeah.
Which is why when people talk about how well Spider-Man 2 did, you have to go, yeah, but it did worse than the first one.
Not in my mind.
Now, here's our danger. We, unlike the people that are trying to hype up the game and pretend that's doing well, you could argue maybe we're doing the opposite, that we're trying to pretend that the game is doing poorly. I don't like the direction they've headed. I've heard from people that it plays really well, but guess what? Tsushima played really well. So if they just did the basics of it played like the first one, it's already going to be good at some base level. The criticism is going to be the storytelling, the theme, and the character. And because of the change in the direction they've gone, I'm not interested. And this might sound cynical, but people make decisions, whatever reason, for not purchasing a game that they like. And I don't want to support a game where the main character is voice acted by somebody who has expressed very violent opinions on the internet. Maybe I'm insane, but I'm allowed to make that decision personally. If Donald Trump shows up in a game and you hate Donald Trump, I'm not going to roll my eyes and mock you for not wanting to buy the Trump game 2.0 or whatever garbage his game is going to be.
Going to be the greatest game. It's going to come in a gold game case.
So I'm trying to be very straightforward when we talk about these games, and this is my source. It happens to be biased. This is what I'm hearing, and these what seem to be the numbers. I would like bad games to not do well. I would like good games to do well. If you like Ghosts of Yote, it doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
Awesome, dude. Enjoy your game. Everybody seems to think when... I've said this before, but it's worth repeating. When you say you don't like something somebody likes, they take it personal and it's weird. It's not attacking you personally. And people self-identify with the things they like too much. If I don't like it, you like it, and it's okay. I'm not attacking you personally. I'm not saying you're a bad person.
Didn't have anything to do with it.
Conceivably, there's a scenario where you would be a bad person for liking something, but let's not go down that route of extremes. But it's great. This is what we know, and I think I've been upfront about the biases involved with the numbers I'm citing, but we don't know a lot right out the gate.
Yeah.
Here's an article from Famitsu. Apparently the Japanese don't like it either.
Really?
They apparently really like Ghost of Tsushima, was a huge hit in Japan. Ghost of Yote is considered a successor. Let's see. Yeah, it seems to just be not selling well in Japan. I thought I had a bit. I probably have to go through it in a bit more detail. But Japan seems to be not hot on the game. They came around to Tsushima. They quite like Tsushima.
It's been a lot of L's for Japan lately as far as video games go.
Yeah, they're not
that
happy
they're
with
making
Shadows.
bad,
They're not happy with Yote.
Other people making Japan games and they're doing terribly.
It seems like Western developers interpreting Japanese culture doesn't seem to work out super well.
Not doing good. Not doing good.
Hey Ross, Tron Ares opening day was something like 15, and the weekend is 35 million.
That's
We have any
not
budget
good.
numbers on the movie yet?
I will tell you right now.
Any what numbers?
Budget
numbers.
Oh, I don't know.
180 to 200 million.
There you go, and that's we assume.
Yeah, I mean, who knows for real, but that's the guess at this point.
Well, to give you clarification, as another vehicle for Jesus, this is performing worse than Morbius.
Oh my gosh.
Worse than Morbid Time.
That's not good.
I watched Morbius because of the memes.
We are
I
not
watched it
alike.
because I wanted it to be good.
In other news, Taylor Swift's release party showgirl is just destroying the theaters.
Even though that album is apparently terrible, and it's starting to wake up Swifties.
Yeah.
A lot of people are like, wait a minute, this is the exact same beat as a Jackson 5 song. Wait a minute.
Wait a minute. Wait a tick.
Oh yeah, here's the Morbin time. Tron Ares earned $14.3 million in the film's domestic opening day, lower than Morbius. There we go.
Yikes.
Morbius is always number one in my heart. And in reality, here's the good news for us. Microsoft is reportedly considering free Xbox cloud gaming with ads and time limits. Denies ditching physical consoles.
Right. No.
You like our
It's
future?
terrible. I know. I don't like it. This is...
What a brave new world with such people in it.
I hate this. This is gross, and I don't like it.
Why don't you tell us about how you feel things are going with the Xbox?
Not good. Bad. You know what's funny is I was thinking about this the other day. People have been celebrating, with like Gears of War going to PlayStation, Helldivers going to Xbox, all that, yada yada, and talking about the end of the console wars. And we've talked about this many times on this program. The end of the console wars will be the end of consoles.
Yep.
Just so you all know it's over with. I mean, like, as that war dies out, that means the consoles have died out. Because it will get to a point where it is not profitable for these companies to make these consoles, and Rhett, you and I were talking about this today, to make these consoles at prices that you'll actually want to pay. I mean, if you think the PS5 is bad now, just wait. Like,
if you were paying for just the hardware, the PS5 would cost so much more.
Yeah, and I don't know. It's a sad thing to see, in my opinion. But I always liked the competition. I thought it was fun. Was it frustrating at times? Absolutely. But it gave us an amazing era of gaming where they were competing with each other, and we got great consoles for the most part, and great games out of it for the most part. Certainly, the top tier games were really well done. And it raised the level of the cross platform stuff. So
yeah, AAA has been ass this generation.
Dude, at the last one too. Let's be real. Because let's see, that'd be the 8th generation, Xbox One and PS4.
Yeah.
That is the beginning of the end of consoles in my mind. I mean, number one, Xbox One came out and tripped over their own dick and pissed everybody off with their terrible ideas of how they wanted the console to function. Where, you can't, like, owning it physically is literally a license. You can't sell it again. It's like a one-time use item.
Oh yeah,
basically.
it's out the gate was terrible.
Yeah, and always on, all that, and that Xbox has never recovered.
I mean, I don't know, Ross. There were big games this last the last generation.
Sure, there was also Battlefield 5. There was also terrible Call of Duty titles. There was also
there were stinkers, but let's see. GTA 5 was last generation.
No, 2 generations ago.
I guess Witcher 3, Red Dead Redemption 2.
No, that was the beginning of the 8th. You're right.
God of War, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Bloodborne, Spider-Man, the first one was amazing, Doom, MGS5, Middle Earth Shadow of War, Borderlands 3 for the Jason in the audience.
It was also where, like, Assassin's Creed was very much in their decline. I'm not saying it was just all terrible. I'm just saying it was the beginning.
Well, I'm looking at the list of big games this last generation, and I can't say that for this current one.
Oh God, no! It's like
it's worse.
This generation is reaping what the last one sowed, and it sowed nothing.
It didn't. It's
Like
so,
it's so just nothing. Because I mean, think about it. What did BioWare come out with last generation? Mass Effect Andromeda and
yeah,
that
yeah.
terrible Iron. What was it? Sorry.
I don't know.
Oh, the terrible Iron Man game
Oh,
that I wanted to play, and it thwarted us.
oh, yeah, you bought one
remember-
for silver.
Yeah, and it
Oh.
didn't work. And now
Oh,
she's
gosh.
forever attached to some random man
Ah.
from like Chicago or some shit.
Guy! My soul has been sold to him. He owns me now.
Like it's just been. I mean, Bungie. They did Destiny, which granted you and I don't care for that much. You especially.
Yeah, I don't
But
like
at least
I don't
Destiny
like
1
Destiny.
was successful. But Destiny 2, I mean, Jesus, that was the begin. Like that ruined Bungie's reputation, and is currently ruining their reputation. Like it's bad, real bad.
The Xbox One stuff is less spectacular than the PlayStation stuff.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the list. PUBG is not really that generation, but it's like one of the biggest selling ones in Xbox One. See, Black Ops 3,
Mm.
COD World War II. I really liked COD World War II. Like, genuinely.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was the biggest banger as everybody made it out to be, but
Well, and for Xbox specifically, it was the end of their exclusives. Like that generation saw the death of their exclusives because they didn't have. I mean, the Gears of War games were terrible.
uh-huh.
The Halo games that released were terrible.
Well, I've got more. Let's see, COD Advanced Warfare, Halo 5,
Terrible.
COD Infinite Warfare, I don't know. Witcher 3, but it was cross-platform. Dead Rising
Yeah.
3.
Terrible.
Cyberpunk 27. Did that release on Xbox One? Good lord.
It did, but you were a lunatic to play it on the 8th gen.
Cuphead was good. It was a good game. Monster Hunter World, Forza 5, Dead Rising 4, Rise Son of Rome. Oh, that was a release right there.
Yeah, I mean, I like that game. I don't think it sold units or anything.
Yeah, the library is not as spectacular as the PlayStation.
No. You know what Rise Son of Rome is?
What?
It is the Order 1886 for Xbox.
But Order 1886 was good.
Sure. I mean, all 2 hours of it were great.
Yeah.
You know,
Beautiful game.
I liked Rise.
For like 2 hours.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, it's like 6, but it's still not. Anyway, let's chug along. I got the story slightly incorrect. Apparently, ScarJo is circling the role of Mother Gothel in Tangle Live
Really?
Action. I
It's gonna be
I alluded that she might be the younger Tangled protagonist, but no, she's going to be the evil stepmother protagonist.
That
Wow.
works a little bit better.
Yeah, because we both were like, shouldn't that be like a 20-something or like
Yeah,
it's confusing?
Yeah.
So slightly political, but take your politics and put them in your pocket. I found this really interesting. So you heard of the halftime show that we're getting for the Super Bowl
Yes.
coming up? Bad
Mhm.
Bunny is going to be doing it, and he's going to do a lot of it in Spanish. And he said something on Saturday Night Live that if you can't understand his Spanish, then you need to learn Spanish. And it's like, why?
Yeah.
But anyway, expect slightly to not veiled commentary on race relations or exporting people from this country. In a shocking turn of events that I didn't expect to happen, but kind of goes, you know what, this could be weird. Turning Point USA has announced that they're going to do their own halftime show during the Super Bowl's halftime
Yeah.
show.
Oh,
So we'll see if we
Okay.
start bifurcating when it comes to our entertainment, and the halftime show for the Super Bowl, millions of people just click off of the channel and watch the other halftime show and then return when it's over.
That would be very funny.
Because that is the perfect bifurcation politically of the culture. Because everybody watches the Super Bowl, but then the halftime shows have become really political. So a lot of people have been tuning out. And sports have gotten really political. Imagine people just leave the channel for the whole halftime to watch somebody else's halftime. That would be a fascinating turn of events.
Now, I could be wrong here, but I wasn't aware that there were, that Hispanic people were so enamored of American football.
Yeah, they like it. I mean, it's
called soccer.
Excuse me, it's called football. Yeah, it's just he's a popular artist. I mean, even among English speakers, I guess, and the youths.
I mean, that's fine. It just seemed to be like a really stupid. I'm going to do part of my show in Spanish, and if you don't know Spanish, then you need to learn it. It's like, do we? Seems
Well,
to
my
me
favorite
that
thing.
if you're going to be catering to the football fans,
No,
you
he's
would do
he's
something for the-
specifically saying that Americans need to learn Spanish, not that he's trying to cater to Spanish audience.
Well, you know what my favorite thing
Right.
about that is? Like, yeah, all of your songs are in Spanish, Mr. Bunny. I know that already. Also, are we known for listening to the people who perform live at the Super Bowl talking? Yeah, I was just so baffling. It's like, yeah, your songs are in Spanish. We know. Like, okay. What, did you think we wanted you to translate them? No one cares. Like, I don't know. No one cares.
Is his
Well,
son
not
going to
unless
be?
Janet Jackson's boob? No one's gonna give a shit.
Is his son going to be Bunny Jr.?
Oh, yes.
This just seems like a stupid idea.
I mean, yes, but sports have had this problem for a long time now. I don't watch sports because of how bad it is. Well, I'm not interested in organized sports really, and that's not because I'm trying to be nerds. Like, I played football.
Yeah,
I found it mostly boring. Like, I don't vicariously watch sports, you like a lot of middle-aged men do, where they're like,
you're not Uncle Ricoing your way through
no,
life.
I'm not Uncle Ricoing my way through life. So the sports I do like tend to be very short, like sumo, where it's like you can watch little clips and see the match and it's done.
Yeah.
Or some fights or something. Like I just get bored watching football. Like, I'll go to a live game and those are really fun, but
Sure.
Then when they got really political, then it's like, well, this is encouraging me to watch it. Like, I already wasn't interested, and now I'm less interested. I gone from 0 to negative. But, it's funny to have a separate Super Bowl for people who don't like normal Super Bowl.
Yeah, I can see a lot of people just kind of tuning out the entire Super Bowl because of something like this.
People have. Let's see. Here's an interesting article I found in Kotaku. Take it for what it is. So apparently PlayStation has live concerts that they do where they play live music from their games.
Oh, yeah.
From games like Last of Us and God of War and that sort of thing. Apparently they've started canceling shows.
Oh.
And there's speculation as to why that's happening. They have given no explanation, but a lot of people are guessing that it might just be there's low to no ticket sales for some of the shows. Because they were going on tour. They were doing Europe locations and then to America. And they've canceled like a London one and stuff.
Oof. Interesting.
Some people have said that people might not be buying tickets because the entire concert seems to be focused on PlayStation 4 and 5 era. Such as Last of Us, God of War, Horizon Zero Dawn, Ghost of Tsushima, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
when I think of concerts I would go to, it wouldn't normally be modern games. I mean, maybe a PlayStation or maybe a Final Fantasy concert.
Yeah,
But by and large, if I want to hear a concert of music, it's probably not most modern games.
Well, you know what's funny is I remember when I was going to the amazing Snow College.
Whoa.
Yeah, well, their music program was pretty robust at the time, and they would do concerts a lot. And one of them was video game music. They did like a video game
Huh,
music
interesting.
concert. Song I remember the most is the Advent Rising theme, which is a game no one remembers, but I do.
Pepperidge Farm remembers.
Pepperidge Farm remembers. You could have won $1 million. There was a giveaway. Nobody won it. The game flopped.
Awesome.
That's funny.
There was $1 million gimmick. It was with a baseball game where the first person to get a perfect game, like a no hit.
Oh,
Yeah, because they thought that their pitching mechanics were so robust that if you were really good skill wise, you could pitch a perfect game.
hmm
I remember that gimmick. I don't know who the first person to do it was, but knowing gamers, it was in like the first 24 hours or something.
Oh, I would imagine, yes. Lunatics that they are.
And finally, an article I didn't add. I assume it's Jason.
I put this one up here. I saw this today. So, Games Workshop, we all know that they're pretty litigious, that they go after people if they think they're getting too close to their copyrights and stuff.
I mean, if you want to
and
talk
they're-
litigious,
they're-
Nintendo's gotten really bad, but go ahead.
yeah. So, they came out recently and went after a lot of 3D printing miniature companies for going, and for copyright, what they term as copyright infringement. And in most of the cases, what they did was they gave concrete examples. So it's like, you're selling this miniature, it looks too close to this miniature that's ours, so you need to change it. But they went after this company Gamac. I don't know if that's how you say it, but anyway, that's kind of the thing. And they just gave them a blanket. We don't. You are infringing on our copyright. They didn't tell them which miniatures. They didn't tell them, you know, your this product is too close to our this product. They just said basically your entire catalog of, I think it was like 1,000 miniatures was infringing upon their copyrights. And Gamac reached out to them and said, well, how? Please give us some information, because we'd like to you know fix this situation. They said that they were willing to remove or rework over 30% of their catalog to fix this problem. And for a year, Games Workshop did nothing. Didn't reply, didn't do anything. They eventually responded, and they still didn't say which models were a problem. They started taking them down on they started attempts to take them down on Patreon and My Mini Factory. And My Mini Factory basically just said that Games Workshop, you haven't provided us enough proof to justify a takedown. And so now 2025, they're basically said, now we're going to sue. But the thing is that even in the lawsuit that they filed, Games Workshop still hasn't come up with anything that says that this is a copyright infringement. Basically, all they've come up with is, let's see, where did it go? They called it unfair competition.
Oh God.
That's it.
So to clarify, this has actually been a thing since the 90s.
Yeah.
You might not be aware, but there have been weird third parties that sold plastic figures. It's like Green Monster Man that were just cheaper versions of orcs, so you could supply your army with orcs. Because notoriously, Games Workshop overcharges for their plastic bits.
Yes.
Like
Right.
I remember hearing people complain that boxes that would cost $20-$30 were full of plastic figures that would probably material wise cost like 50 cents. And other companies would sell suspiciously similar figures to Games Workshop figures. Like in the 90s, this was a thing. Like I was very aware of this at the time. Now they got more sophisticated where there are companies out there that aren't 3D. This is pre 3D printing that were selling figures that were sort of similar Warhammer figures that people would buy from them instead of give Games Workshop the money and then use them in their armies. This has been a long running people trying to circumvent Games Workshop because they suck balls.
And this is that same thing. I mean, it's gone into the 3D printing era, obviously. What I feel is the kind of danger with this one, because in the article it says that they went after certain companies and they said you're infringing on our copyright. But specifically with Gomac, they just basically said all your entire catalog, thousands of miniatures that you're printing, you're infringing on our copyrights. But they haven't once said which ones or how or presented any evidence. And in the lawsuit they filed, they still didn't file it under copyright. They filed it under unfair competition. So it's like they can't nail them on the copyright, and so instead they're trying to put them out of business because they basically make cheaper and better products than Games Workshop.
Yeah, I mean, they can make this argument, but this is not the first time I've seen this. I don't know why they think now it's going to work. Like, I can't remember what website is in. I'm trying to find... Because there are established websites that have been selling sort of mock Warhammer figures for a long time. Like, I remember seeing these in the early 2000s, and that they just exist. But yeah, this reminds me of an article. I didn't put it up, but apparently Nintendo is selling people for making AI videos involving Mario and Pikachu.
Oh my god!
Like,
what an embarrassing company Nintendo's turning into.
Demanding they take it down, and they're unhappy with them being featured in these short little videos people are making. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of push and pull when it comes to copyright with AI, but it's like, what are you going to do?
Yep.
You can't stop the signal.
Nope.
It's like Serenity. You can't stop it. It's out there. It'll keep happening.
Too late, man.
You could go after this company, and you know what they'll do? Their figure models will be leaked online, and you'll just be able to download them on like some sort of torrent website and just print your own stupid figures.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. You can't stop the signal, man. Silver. Thoughts on today before we get out of here? You awake, champ, bucko, little slugger?
I forget I'm even part of this podcast. I'm just like, I'm listening to a podcast.
Well, see, people listening to this might think that we're suppressing her speech, but she's shy, and also we threaten her off screen.
Yeah.
Oh, very much so, yes.
I am scared.
You think you're just listening to the podcast? You forget you're a part of it.
Yeah, I'm just sitting here like, yeah, just your podcast. Yeah, I'm just listening while I'm doing nothing.
Do you even like our podcast?
Oh, I hate it.
Oh.
Oh,
That's disappointing.
I listen out of hatred.
She's got nothing better to do to kill a couple hours on a Saturday night.
Angry listening.
Yeah.
All right, well.
I hate watching.
I would welcome hate watchers. No, Superman is good.
Hate
And they'll be
watchers.
like, all right. It's almost like they think I'm going to be upset they like it. And it's like, oh, it's fine.
You should like it.
On our Superman review channel, some guy that reviews movies commented, and he said he wished it was better. And I was like, oh.
Oh yeah,
We all wished it was better.
Yeah, for sure.
and we all cry on the inside. I cannot stop thinking of stupid hot girl going, "Ah!"
You cry on the inside?
I mean, I would cry externally if I could.
Imagine weeping over Superman. Well, there is that guy that embarrassingly would cry watching
Oh.
Star Wars trailers.
Oh my gosh.
He's a hero and a legend on the internet.
That's a weepy boy.
He's a weepy boy.
So sad.
Ross, you participating in this podcast? You just a listener like Silver over here.
I like to participate. You know, I'm a participating kind of guy
Oh.
here and nowhere
Get a
else.
gold star.
Yeah.
Well, why don't you add something to podcast and give us a reflection?
You know, give money to the things that are to the companies and games and the things that are doing what you want it to do, not just because it has a brand. Ignore, even if it's your favorite, you know, I mean, don't buy Mass Effect Andromeda just because it has Mass Effect, right? Don't buy, if you don't like what Battlefield 6 is doing, don't buy it, or Call of Duty or whatever. Just support what does right by you. And don't pre-order. For the love of God, don't do that. Ever.
I pre-ordered Tactics.
But you knew you'd like that. I mean, what were they going to do to screw that game up?
I get in and like Rams has changed his race or something.
Everyone's gay and lesbian. What the hell?
I didn't know this was a weird allegory.
Oh.
What do you get?
Why
The translation just has like lefty online terms like chud now.
Well, it's funny. The story could be considered kind of lefty, but then
Oh, sure.
not if you interpret it accurately, because there's a lot of anti-aristocracy messaging in that game.
Oh, sure.
Because one character gets really belligerent over the royals and the aristocracy in the kingdom, and he thinks they're all ruining everything. And the funny thing about him is he ends up like, as much as he has a point, he ends up in the end, his point of revenge becomes just horrible. And he becomes just another piece of shit in the long term. And in reality, you're sort of fighting a meta risk to the world rather than simply your beef with royal people. It's an interesting plot. It's a complex one. One thing they added that was actually pretty good that Final Fantasy 16 did is there was a screen that constantly kept updating as the lore changed. So you could, if you were lost in the story, you could read stuff and keep up with it.
Oh, that's nice. I
Yeah,
like
because
that.
it is a complex story. It is a complex mess of nonsense. Jason?
Like I said before, just to reiterate, these companies need to go back to training wheels and guardrails until they can figure out the rules.
What are the rules? What are the rules? What are the rules? Before I finish this song, we better end it.
Right.
And podcast out.
If you like the show, follow Rhett, Jason, Ross, and Silver, the world's most lethally stupid internet personalities, on Twitter @DGPodcast or on Instagram @DistractedGamers. If you liked or hated what you heard here today, you can email them at thedistractedgamers@gmail.com and share your feelings. Not that Jason would care, since he hasn't any, of course.
Oh my god, it's so juicy!